certain names define a cultural geography. For modern French architecture and its international reach, the name is Le Corbusier, as the Swiss-born Charles-Edourd Jeanneret chose to call himself. The new exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art, Le Corbusier, an atlas of modern landscapes, reveals the ways in which Le Corbusier observed and imagined landscapes throughout his career, using all the artistic techniques at his disposal. Curator and architectural historian Jean-Louis Cohen guides Canape into the imagination of a 20th century visionary.
Le Corbusier remains a historical figure, the greatest architect probably of the 20th century, maybe arguably together with Frank Lloyd Wright. And he has left not only 75 buildings, 400 paintings, 45 books, and much archival material, but also he has given us the figure of a modern architect. He was the first architect to have a global activity and to construct a worldwide work. Le Corbusier was born under the name of Charles-Edourd Jeanneret in La Chaux-de-Fonds, a Swiss city, where half the world's watches, then pocket watches, were produced before 1914. So the city was small but had a worldwide range already. He was trained in the School of Art to observe landscape, to draw watch cases, and I would say that the precision of his lines that we see in the exhibition, in his many drawings, something that came out from his early training. It's clear that La Chaux-de-Fonds and even cities like Munich or Vienna or Zurich were too small for the young man's ambitions. So Le Corbusier wanted to seduce Paris, wanted to build in Paris, wanted to situate his buildings against the backdrop of Paris' monuments, and in the end wanted to reshape Paris completely according to his plans. So he pursued the dream of rebuilding Paris as a totally rational, crystalline city for decades, never succeeded, but nonetheless left very important structures throughout the city and the region. Le Corbusier started moving around the world, around Europe in the late 20s. He made grand projects for Moscow and built his larger structure of the interwar period in Moscow. And then his trips to Latin America, to North Africa and to the US produced extremely important and provocative projects that never succeeded. And it would be only in the 50s when Prime Minister Nehru of India asked him to build a new capital for the state of Punjab called Chandigarh that he was able to conceive, to draw an entire city. The city was built according to his urban plan. He made the capital, which remained an extraordinary combination of public buildings and probably the largest ensemble of all the ones he had designed and dreamed of during decades. The show here is very important for the complex relationship of Le Corbusier in America. It is the largest show ever made in this country. There were many previous attempts, but they were to a certain extent failures, because on one hand, a museum like MoMA was probably more interested in figures like Frank Lloyd Wright or Mies van der Rohe or Alvar Aalto, and also because after having lost several battles here in America, in particular the battle for the construction of the UN headquarters in the late 40s, Le Corbusier was vehemently anti-American at the end of his life. So the last 15 summers of his life he spent on the seashore in the small cabanon, in the small shack he built for himself, where he would, in a way, in his summer hermitage, make many projects, write his last books, and also die ultimately.
Drama begins when an event ruptures a stable situation. Nothing could be more dramatic than a hit-and-run accident. In the Cannes Film Festival-nominated thriller 3 Worlds, director Catherine Corsini uses one fatal moment of misjudgment to take a look at class, morality, and social diversity in today's France. Actor Raphaël Personnaz talks to Canape about his lead role as the man who drives the car and runs away.
Je voulais donner la parole donc au leader, c'est un homme, alors que mes derniers films, c'était des rôles tenus par des femmes. Tout en travaillant sur des thèmes qui me sont propres, c'est-à-dire les rapports de classe, c'est-à-dire la position de quelqu'un dans le monde qui cherche justement sa place ou qui a une place mais qui n'y est pas bien. Et je pense que c'est un film aussi sur la conscience et comment les gens s'éveillent à une certaine conscience, quoi.
Putain, viens!
Il s'est rien passé. Demain, on se retrouve comme prévu. Nous, avec Martin, on va s'occuper de la caisse.
J'habite avenue Laumière. J'ai tout vu le soir de l'accident.
Quel accident?
J'étais à la fenêtre, je vous ai vu.
At the beginning, he can't accept reality, which is too horrible for him. And after, he's going to have to deal with it. So you've got many choices. Or you buy the silence, or you really accept what you are with your weakness and your bad, your dark sides. And there is another character which was a witness of this accident, which is played by Clotilde Dem. She's the only one to accept this guy as he is, with his weakness and dark side, and to say to him, to accept his humanity with all that. Before he was the perfect guy, and all of a sudden there is somebody who say, you are not this perfect guy, but you're human and you can do something good in your life, maybe.
C'est la personne qui a trouvé votre mari.
Merci.
Merci, allez à vous.
Vous êtes nommé gérant et propriétaire de 25% des parts de la société.
Merci.
Les 25% restants allant à Mademoiselle Tessard.
Si je me dénonce, c'est toute ma vie, c'est tout ce que j'ai construit qui s'effondre.
Mais vous pouvez pas la laisser comme ça, elle a rien.
On a trouvé un type qui a vu l'accident.
Allez la voir. Tu le connais? Tu sais où il habite?
Va te dénoncer, va. Mister Perfect, là.
C'est un film qui en même temps est tragique, en même temps raconte, je trouve, l'histoire du monde aujourd'hui. Et voilà, je voulais que ça soit un film en même temps moderne. Voilà, c'est un film effectivement qui est complexe, qui propose beaucoup de choses, parce qu'en même temps, il y a tout d'un coup, il y a une dimension philosophique, parce qu'il y a un prof de philo qui est le futur mari de Juliette, qui va donner une interprétation presque de cette histoire en parlant de Heidegger et en parlant du choix. Et puis voilà, on peut faire beaucoup de choses pour quelqu'un, on peut échanger beaucoup de choses avec quelqu'un, mais on ne peut pas mourir à la place de quelqu'un d'autre. Voilà, et voilà, c'est aussi une chose qui éclaire le film. La personne avec qui j'ai coécrit le scénario, c'est-à-dire à qui j'ai proposé de travailler, Benoît, est quelqu'un qui a fait de la philo. Et ce qui m'intéressait finalement, c'était son regard presque de philosophe sur le monde. Et j'avais envie d'intégrer cette chose-là, parce que c'est quelque chose qui pouvait m'apporter. Donc on en a parlé longuement, justement, effectivement, de la conscience, de la responsabilité, du destin. Enfin voilà, parce que le film manie tout ce genre d'interrogation. Donc c'est ça qui m'a donné envie, quoi.
If there is a single most important book in 20th century French literature, it is the epic psychological novel of manners, À la recherche du temps perdu, known in English either as, in direct translation, In Search of Lost Time, or, drawing from a phrase by Shakespeare, Remembrance of Things Past. Written by the reclusive Marcel Proust and published in multiple volumes, the entire work exceeds 2,000 pages. The journey to fame for Proust and his mammoth tome began with the publication in 1913 of the first volume titled Swann's Way. Cultural counselor for France in the United States, Antonin Baudry, talks with Canape about the enduring importance and pleasures of Proust.
So why now in 2013 do we celebrate Proust here in New York? Because 2013 is the centennial of the first editing of La Recherche du Temps Perdu, and it has been edited exactly in November 1913 in France. And of course, there have been a lot of books edited in 1913. So why this one? Maybe because it's the most important book in French literature, and also maybe because it is the source of many philosophic works in different directions. We can think of psychoanalysis, but also analytic philosophy. And I think that in these two areas of research, Proust plays a significant role. Why should an American person in 2013 read this book? Well, I would say first because it's fun. I was at a public reading of the beginning of Swann's Way, which is a part of Remembrance of Things Past, at NYU a few weeks ago. And everybody was laughing. It's really a very fun book. The second reason is that it is universal. It doesn't describe only the high upper French society. It describes all the internal mechanisms that we can also discover within ourselves. And it describes it so precisely that when you read it, you're really amazed to find yourself captured in this book. There is one scene that almost everybody knows or remembers when one has read it, which is the scene of the Madeleine. And the principle of it is first that there is a long way to remember the important things of your past that still are active in your current life, and that some objects, such as a Madeleine, can lead you to this path. And the second lesson, the second philosophic principle behind this scene is that it is the only thing on earth that can make you happy, to find who you are through the past and through the writing of the past.
Is it tough these days being a bachelor who works as a freelance illustrator in Paris? You bet it is. Just ask the protagonist of the new romantic comedy, The Stroller Strategy, whose girlfriend leaves him early in the game. When a baby literally falls into his arms, it's time to rethink how to woo back the departed. Would she be attracted to a man who is now a responsible parent? Canape takes a look at the farcical hit movie.
It was my first leading part in a comedy. And this comedy is really written about situation, absurd situations. So you have to be the more sincere as possible. And this movie was about a guy who is trying to appear like a a good dad. So it's like in the Tootsie, the movie with Dustin Hoffman. You know, he tries to have his love back by a transvestite himself. So that was the same thing. He tries to appear as a dad, and he's not that kind of guy. So that was about the lying. This guy is always lying, and a lie comes after another. So.
Salut Thomas, moi c'est Marie.
Personne te force à venir t'installer chez moi. Bon anniversaire.
T'as pas envie?
T'es sérieux?
J'ai l'impression qu'on n'avance plus. Je préfère partir maintenant, après ce sera trop difficile.
Tu penses encore beaucoup à elle? Ça fait 1 an qu'elle m'a quitté. En fait, il y a votre bébé, il est tombé dessus.
Tu peux rester avec lui, s'il te plaît?
Mais je sais pas comment ça marche, moi.
Non, mais ça marche pas du tout à cet âge-là.
Alors, tu pues. Je mets pas les mains là-dedans, moi je suis désolé, je peux rien faire pour toi.
Ça, c'est la Rolls. Avec ça, tu chopes la jeune maman, divorcée, sexuellement elle est loin, enfin... C'est pas de ma faute si les femmes aiment les papas.
Faut bien la chauffer, comme ça, dis ça.
T'as piqué un bébé pour aller voir Marie, mais t'es un génie.
Thomas?
Marie? Ça me fait bizarre de te voir, je m'attendais pas.
C'est à toi?
Oui.
Mais quel âge il a?
Il est petit.
Well, actually, this guy is really from my generation in France. He's got some issues by the fact of growing up and being responsible. And the fact is that he has to carry that baby, he has to take care of him. And suddenly he will take care of somebody who is not himself for once. So he will have a future perspective with that baby. And he understands, I think, at the end of the movie that he can, you know, do something in his life. He can really build a new life because he understood that by the fact of being generous and out of himself, he will grow. That's the point of the movie.
Bah oui, ça me fait bizarre de te voir. Oui, ça me fait bizarre que t'aies un bébé dans les bras.
Putain, c'est lequel?
Il s'appelle comment?
Claude.
Claude.
T'as le bébé, mais t'as toujours pas la tête d'un papa. Le bébé, tu me le prêteras.
Non, mais t'es malade, c'est pas un jouet.
Voilà, t'es en confiance, là. Et là, tu donnes, et là, c'est beau. Là, il y a du geste. Thomas, tu vas trop loin. Dis-lui la vérité. Faut que t'arrêtes de faire n'importe quoi avec ce bébé, sa mère, Marie, parce que tu vas finir par leur faire du mal à tous.
Tu débarques avec ton fils, après tu me dis que t'es séparés. Toi, tu cherches quoi, Thomas, là? T'es venu me narguer?
Et non.
T'es venu me draguer?
Je fais des petites courses, quoi.
These little bombs hold the power to strengthen the dunes, to make them stronger, to make them healthy again. And they were quite damaged by the storm. They were damaged before the storm. And we're just giving Mother Nature a little help.
Put them in?
Yeah, here, give me your hand.
Me too?
Give me your hand. That's grasses, these ones.
These ones are, these?
That's sumac.
Sumac. What does sumac do?
Sumac, it grows, so it grows roots. We want the roots to hold the dunes in place. Because dunes are made of sand, so they move very easily. So now you pour water. I think we can use a tiny bit more water.
Just a tiny bit. There you go. That's good.
We don't want it sprouting when we're keeping it here. We want it to sprout once it's out in nature. So we want it to dry up as fast as possible when it's here, so we can keep them a little longer. And then when it's time for us to go and throw them in the dunes, the rainwater will take care of getting them wet and getting them to sprout.
Monsanto is to obsolete them. Like, we just have to be better than they are and show like local productivity is far more efficient. We're losing our soil at a rapid pace as well from the Monsanto industrial paradigm. And so a lot of it has to do with coming back to the land, understanding the indigenous concepts of how to be in balance with the rhythms in this massive transition. So that, if any of you want to be part of that farming network, we have our major farm up in Wassaic. We're like fighting the banks from taking this land. All of the issues get really human once you start going back to the land, so we can start creating our own networks of liberated land.
So anybody interested in bioregional farm networks and interested in working with the indigenous, come find this F for farms. We're right next to Kevin on the other side of that there big water thingy. And on the other side of the water thingy, we'll be presenting how to use seed bombs from my friend Ann. Right there, we got cool hats. We're impossible to miss. So come find us over that way if you'd like to learn about how to take control of your food system. Direct action all the way. Come on over. Take control of your food. We got the seed bombs right here.
The seeds that I used in the seed bombs for the shore are only seeds of plants that belong in the dunes. There's 2 dune systems, it's a double dune. So I'm doing only the first dune right after the ocean. And unfortunately, I was only able to get 3 out of the 12 plants that grow them there. We don't have access to our seeds. I did a little website, Seed Bomb the Coastline, teaching people also how to go pick the seeds during harvest time and how to plant the dune grass in the winter time when they're dormant, and kind of get the communities there to learn how to have this momentum going where 3 days a year you're taking care of your natural barrier.
The smallest little ball and get it. Okay. Right leg up. Go.